Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown and analysis of this game we love up here in Canada. Hey, let's talk about these guys today. The Saskatchewan Roughriders. This ball sits over there. Normally, this is a game ball from, not a game ball, but a signed ball by the 2007 Grey Cup players. And this is the hat I got on the field. So spent 3 great years there. Loved my time working for the Riders. Great organization, great fan base. Let's open the playbook to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. First of all, please subscribe to the page. It's going to help support us. And again, I kind of, as I'm doing all my prep for TSN each week, I said if I have some time, I'm going to start shooting some things and posting it up to YouTube. So if you're not getting enough CFL stuff and you like this, give me a follow and that or a subscription, so then I kind of know to keep doing it. All right, we usually break down what happened the previous season, record, and just some thoughts. So the Riders start out 3-3. The biggest thing that happened within those first 6 games is Trevor Harris gets injured. Then they got to play multiple quarterbacks rolling through there and trying to play. But I'll tell you, in the second 6 games, they go 3-3 again. So they're sitting at 6-6. But unfortunately, for the second time in a row, or second year in a row, 2 seasons ago, they finished 0-7 down the stretch. Last season, they finished 0-6 down the stretch and then had a bye week. So then a coaching change was made. I had the opportunity at Grey Cup to see Craig Reynolds. And I know there's a lot of talk about, blow the whole thing up. And I saw Craig and I told him I was pleased that he kept Jeremy O'Day. Now, Jeremy O'Day is a friend of mine. We worked together years ago in 07, 08, 09. But I think the consistent organizations are the ones that win. And you can't keep blowing things up. I think that's one of the reasons Bombers have been successful. So what I don't think people have an understanding of, sometimes, like Saskatchewan has only been in first place in the West twice in the past 50 years, right? 70s, since the 70s, 2009, where I was fortunate enough to be on that staff, we got first place. We upended Calgary to get first place. And then 2019, where Jeremy's first year as general manager. So I think he merited the opportunity to hire another coach and continue. I think that's good for the organization from a scouting standpoint, for a structure standpoint, to have some consistency in the place. Okay, normally I talk about the coaching, give one coaching point or whatever. I'm going to talk stats first because that's going to lead into the coaching thing. So, not great offensively in a number of areas, obviously without great quarterbacking. But the stats that really threw me was defensively. And until I grouped it, I really didn't recognize how bad this was. Offensive points 9th, net offense 9th, passing TDs 9th, red zone TD percentage 9th, given up, big plays given up 9th, last in turnover margin. I'm going to say this: if you're last in turnover margin in the Canadian Football League, I'm sure the last place team has never made the playoffs in the last 15 years. So that's one area you have to get under control. Now, turnover margin, I'll make this point, is an offensive. If you give the ball away, which the Riders did, they have the most giveaways in the CFL, 49, playing young quarterbacks. So they're finished 9th. Add that their takeaways were 8th. That's going to place them last in the CFL. But I guess my point is, sometimes you give, the offense was good, the defense tried the hardest. You have to perform at a high level on defense, whether or not your offense is performing. I look at Montreal last year. Now, the offense was by far better in Montreal than this unit, but they weren't the top 3 in the league. But that defense stepped up, made plays. I can recall years ago coaching, and there's a team in the East, the Toronto Argonauts, led by Mike O'Shea as a linebacker, and Orlando Steinhauer as a free safety. And I'll tell you what, they didn't have some great offenses, but those guys would end up first or second in the East every year with average offense. Why? Because that defense was just outstanding. So I think sometimes we use it as a crutch. You've got to be better defensively, and they just weren't. So now I'll get to the coaching change. You can see why Corey Mace is a perfect fit for this organization. Hopefully they get Trevor Harris back. Now Corey comes in. Hey, I need you to fix this defense. And, Corey in Toronto gave up some yards last year, but second in points allowed. Sacks first in the CFL. compared to ninth in the CFL for the Riders. Takeaways first and interceptions first. So that's what Jeremy O'Day went and go, all right, I got a guy who can fix my defense. And look, in the preseason so far, what are the Saskatchewan Roughriders? A lot of takeaways. So good things to see from this unit. I think Corey's going to do a great job. All right. Preseason, like I just said, there's been multiple takeaways. What else am I excited about roster-wise? What happened? If I had a place where I could jump into the stands here, I would jump into the stands and honor my man, Jamarcus Hardrick. Really excited for him. One, not only for him and his family, they're great people, but two, that he gets to be the money guy in an offensive line group, right? So fortunate for him, he can be now the highest paid offensive lineman, and he's going to bring an energy. He's going to bring ability to that offensive line unit, and add him and AJ Ouellette. That's going to make a difference to that offense. You could see me last year yelling at the screen on TV. I'd be yelling at halftime if I was on the panel for the Riders to please run the football, because you have young quarterbacks. Make sure you run the football. And again, they just didn't really, I don't know if they committed to it. They just or weren't proficient at it. But that was I was always asking for. I bet I'm not going to have to yell at the screen with the addition of Hardrick, AJ Ouellette, and it'll be interesting to see how they use those guys. Now, add Trevor Harris, his high percentage, quick throw, stay on the field offenses he's been involved in. He's going to stay on the field. He's going to give that defense time to be able to sit on the sideline, because Trevor completes passes, gets first downs, and will drive the length of the field at a run game. I think this team can go really far. Anytime you get your quarterback back and you last in turnover margin, if you can flip that, you can go from 9th to 5th, that's 4 wins. So I can see this team dramatically improving. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Riders do, and we'll see what happens through the course of the season. Start the season, it's pretty good for them. They have a bye week after 3 games. And I believe they play Edmonton back-to-back and Hamilton. So they have Edmonton twice and Hamilton. They could be 2-1 out of that. If they really do something, they could go into the bye with 3 wins. So it's going to be an interesting year in Riderville. Looking forward to watching them.